What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of NF Twins. Today, we're talking about no VC, no problem. Why being scrappy beats being VC funded.
Well, and of course, we're going to talk about our own experiences, because in the end, I think that it's all highly dependent on the situation. But why not jump in right now? Why it was for us maybe not the best choice at the beginning.
Well, okay, first of all, so in the last startup we had with Zoom was an automatic recording tool which captured all gaming highlights automatically. But we did have VC funding. So first of all, we went to an accelerator. It was called Startup Bootcamp in Amsterdam, Netherlands, which is really, really interesting and cool because not because we got money, because honestly, the money that we got, we had to use for living expenses. It was more costly than it actually was helpful because we had to create a company, Dutch company, and all the accounting shit. Not worth
But it was definitely cool because you see other founders and then just like pushing together because each of them, well, of course, everybody had their own startup, but all of them like pushing to get product market fit, or at least that's what we were working towards. So at the same time, now also, why are we saying that no VC, no problem? Is because we saw from our own experience that sometimes you get so focused or you focus so much on just raising money than actually building a product people want, right? I mean, this sounds so simple, especially like the YC saying, right? Build a product that people want. But at the same time, as a first time founder, you're like, yeah, but I don't have money. So how should I?
Oh yeah.
So why? So I can rather have first try to convince somebody with a presentation that I built 2 months on, then hopefully get a VC to invest in it, then actually just use that time to build the product.
I mean, in our case, it took us literally like 4 or 5 months. We were just reaching out to VCs, or we're actually reaching out to companies that were funded by the VCs that we wanted. Then had a conversation with them.
By the way,
Had a conversation with them, and then use that to get an intro to the VC. And then we had the pitch, we improved the pitch, we got feedback, and we iterated. But that was literally for us, two people, almost full time. I was like working a little bit on the designs as well still back then, but not really. It's just two people working on it full time instead of actually focusing on the product and getting feedback in. But it's also the thing, our product was also one of the things. It was like, hey, we thought it was like a first like building a social network for gamers. So
at the same time, at that point, Marc, but at that point we already had a product, right? That we launched when we were reaching out to actually get funding. So there's a different story. But even before then, before we got into an accelerator, we spent so much time applying to so many accelerators, like literally just building presentations, answering all these questions, trying to find them. So I think these are the things that if I would start from zero again, I wouldn't do at all. First of all, I would just build a product right from the start. Because in the end, there's so many no-code tools. I think there's also another episode we're going to talk about.
Well, you don't have to think about when you start from zero because that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, that's we're not starting at zero anymore, but
that's true though. We started last year from zero.
All right. So, okay, then, Marc, tell us, how did we actually then build a startup or a company without actually coding experience?
All right. So first of all, last year in January, we started with a January 30th. I found WeWeb, which is a no coding tool, because we're like, look, regular coding back then, vibe coding wasn't a thing. We already had this.
Crazy. So like 1 year and a half now?
Or a year and 2 months, basically.
Yeah, completely changed.
Completely changed. But back then, there was no vibe coding. For those people who don't know what vibe coding is, basically, vibe coding enables you with prompting to code. So you would prompt like, hey, please create a website for me that is a social network, has a newsfeed like Facebook. When you press the like button, there is an animation that does graffiti spraying everywhere. Also, should have an onboarding similar to one that Airbnb does. Like you can go very, very specific, and then usually the product people will have better prompts because they know exactly. Look, also when you press that button, please do this. Ask the backend to give you this information. Please make sure that you have an authorization, like onboarding and all that stuff.
So that wasn't available. So why did you choose WeWeb? And then how did we actually start from scratch, right?
So, all right. So that was vibe coding. This is now a thing. But back then, I was looking for tools no code because look, I had some Adalo I checked out, which is basically a shitty version of, oh, sorry, not shitty, but like a a worse version of Flutterflow because they also have like a kind of a backend included, but it's not that good. And so I was like, I couldn't find a good tool, and then I found WeWeb, which is a website creator, with its JavaScript based, but it's a visual coder. So you drag and drop. It's a similar product or similar, but much simpler in terms of user experience. Is much better than oh my god, what is it called? Where we had our website on the Zoom. What is it called?
Webflow.
Yeah, Webflow, exactly. It's just better than you can have APIs connecting with it. At the same time, I also found Xano because they said, hey, Xano is also a no-code backend tool that you can use for all the rest. So basically, I taught myself with it's called WeWeb Academy and Xano, basically the tutorials that these fucking platforms offer you. And they're so explanatory and it's like very easy and simple. So I really enjoyed that.
All right. And in how fast did you build a product?
So I built look from scratch. I started 30th of January and
Learning it, right?
learning. I
You're
started
not
learning.
even
Like I
that
did the
you-
tutorials and everything, and then I started building it. And that took me probably 5 to 6 weeks. So we had a product launched, and then we had our first customers who paid.
Yeah. I think like in April was mid to end of April with our
Yeah,
first paying customers.
because we also fill out the way because we need to have a specific payment processor, and we had to wait for the approval of that. But
Man.
but it worked out. So I'm saying 2 months basically.
All right. At the same time, I reached out to do all the marketing, right? Because at the end, we said, okay, Marc will be focusing all on development while I'll be taking care of all the other shit, like maybe marketing or creating the company, because there's all these things so that he could focus on that. I think that's all one of the things I would do again, like this. At the same time, of course, we weren't able to grow it as fast as we wanted to. I mean, it's still generating revenue for us, but it's not. That's also what we're working on right now. That's for a different time.
Maybe in 2 months, 3 months, once we have it running, we'll talk about the new.
Yes, exactly. I'm super excited about it because I think that's a way for a lot of apps to get more traffic, especially using TikTok.
Not only apps, but also any
Website.
website, exactly,
Yeah.
anything online. Sorry.
Any service provider, let's put this way, who's not, because TikTok Shop, right, is really good right now, especially in the US. Well, in Germany, it hasn't launched yet. For
Spain has.
Spain has, which is kind of interesting. I don't understand why Germany not. But coming back, so TikTok Shop is fantastic right now if you want to have a good return on investment or ROAS, return on ad spend.
Yeah, that's
So that's like really good for that. So we're seeing for physical products, but for SaaS products, they're also a great way. We are testing it right now. We'll definitely keep you posted in 2 months. But now coming back, so for me, the reason why I say no VC, no problem, is not because they might make it more complicated that you have your reporting. We have to do all the reporting stuff.
Yeah, but we got super lucky also, right?
Exactly.
We had
That's what I'm
really
saying.
nice VC.
From our point of view, for us, this is more like a saying to ourselves because we're like, all right, I think there's, of course, the right time to go for VCs. But we decided, especially for our first time, we're like, okay, we spend way too much time to actually find the VCs, then building the product. Because once you have the product, VCs will come knocking anyways.
I think this is another thing also, like we're like in between trapped in that look, YC is great. Now I think their ethos is amazing, but it also you have to consider where you're stationed. Like we're from Europe, we live in Europe. Raising here, it's really hard, especially back in the day with this kind
Spain,
of
not
gaming.
even Europe. You would say
It's
Spain.
In Spain, exactly.
Like
So this is the
5 years
thing.
ago.
5 years ago, no one knows us as founders, etc. So another thing, like I think this kind of dogma or this fucking ethos, also had us trapped a little bit because like, oh, we got race. No, but instead just focusing on look, end of the day, do you have a product that people already want and not? Because you get in well, people invest in you. Either you're already a second-tier founder, the idea has already been validated, which our idea wasn't validated, so that you have customers that pay for it or actually use it, and the usage is showing like, whoa, this guy's spending like 20 minutes a day on this fucking app. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So once you have that validated, so important. What the point I was getting at is instead of raising money, before you start raising money, you should start validating your idea. Make sure that people are either paying for it or they're actually focusing or spending a lot of time in the app. And once you do that, you can start checking if you want to raise money. Again, depends on if your idea makes sense to raise money because some of them are already so profitable.
If you want to build I mean, also like investors look for ideas that can 100x, 1000x of the investment. So if you're building an agency, etc., it might not be worth it, or it's definitely not a VC game, right? There are certain,
Yeah, exactly. You can also raise like from banks money.
yeah, exactly. Then you can do alternative ways, but for VCs, that is not ideas. It's more like you want to hit a home run, you want to go for these big bets. Then VC money can really help because they can basically accelerate growth if they are done in the right time. That's why also in YC they always say have at least 1 year of money in the bank, because once you have it, you can focus on some ideas, try them out, fail fast, and then just keep going.
But keep iterating, right? That's the
Exactly.
whole point. Like you work with your customers in a sense of like, hey, you see what they're actually not what they're necessarily saying, because sometimes they say things that are supported by their actions, but what the actions are actually doing. So that's why tracking is very important. That you have that, you keep tracking what they're doing, and then go from there, right?
And this, I heard it the other day in a podcast where they're saying, hey, 1,000, you need normally say 1,000 hours to become a master, but I think it was Naval who said that. Yeah, it was Naval. But he rather believes you need 1,000 iterations to become a master. So that's because we, in the end, we iterate, make a mistake, and in that iteration, from that learning, we get better, right? Because otherwise, if you just look at the screen for 10,000 hours, you not become a master. But if you try something and learn from that, that's how you become a master. And I think that's also with product market fit. You start with a product, getting the feedback in. That's a little feedback loop, and then getting better. And that's like how you get to product market fit. I don't think you need 10,000 iterations, but you slowly but surely will get there with more and more iterations.
So I think again, VCs have a massive role and a really important roles for markets that winner takes it all, or you have to be very, very fast to secure it, or you just want to scale up really quick.
At the same time, I believe now it's never been such a great time to launch a startup without VC funding, because you can build a startup so fast with AI products, as well as get payment, like get ways for people to pay for it. So I think it's right now you don't need it, but it's also it can help you accelerate a lot. So for example, if you use an built an app, and which can generate a few million, which is a lot of money, but it's not worth for certain VCs, right? So I think for these ideas, you wouldn't need to go for VC money.
Agree.
All right. Now, actually, guys, we have now a new segment which is called Twin Wars, or
No,
the
Clone
Clone
Wars.
Wars. Clone
Sorry,
Wars. The
get it
Clone
right, my
Wars.
boy.
All right. So Clone Wars, what we're going to do now is Mark and I going to pitch each ideas, like might be a simple idea, and then we'll crown, or actually, you guys can crown. Just
You
in the
guys
comments.
because
You guys
be a
crown the
disaster.
comment who's gonna be the alpha twin for the till the next episode. So we're gonna have that each week, like a short pitch, and then you guys can, of course, in the comments below, tell us who's the alpha twin. And last but not least, in our last segment, we will be answering questions that you might have, just like talk from our own experience, right? We have already some from the last one that you let us know, and we will answer them from our own opinion.
All right, Mark. This section is going to be called unreasonable advice.
Exactly, because yeah, we're not doctors, and as you can see, we're just entrepreneurs who are right now on our what is it
Journey
called? Yeah,
from zero to blue chip hero.
exactly. But like the how did Alex Samosi always say it? The path.
We're in the rocky cutscene.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a different name for it. Basically, you're not successful yet, but at the same time, yeah, you're getting. Yeah, I guess the rocky cutscene.
It's
But
the rocky cutscene.
it's
Let's go.
about better.
Let's start with your pitch. Let's go.
All right,
You introduce it.
All right. Cool. Let me have the tea all open.
You need some time. I can already start.
Yeah, start.
All right, everyone. Let me introduce you to the boring local monopolies. They are the new unicorns. We talked already about VCs that get horny about fucking unicorns. Like, oh, so what is a unicorn? A unicorn is $1 billion company. All right. So what's the angle of this whole thing? So I mean, these are businesses that dominate tiny geographies. So think about businesses such as septic tank cleaning. For those people in Europe, in the US, it's very popular. Or also here in very unpopulated areas, that you have a septic tank, where it's basically a tank where you put where all the poop and all that stuff goes from from your house. And this needs to be cleaned, right? This needs to be emptied and this needs to be cleaned. So this business or like a funeral home or mobile dog grooming. So what you do is you either buy one or you buy all of them in the area, thereby hence creating a monopoly. You can then adjust prices wherever you want. And then from there, you fucking make the big bucks. So
I don't know.
so wait, let me finish. Look, these are businesses that are recurring, they're in high demand, especially think about dog grooming. Always a thing. It's also always a hassle to fucking do that. If you do mobile dog grooming, but let's fucking go. Hey. Also, this is cool. These are usually boomer businesses and they have low churn rate and zero digital presence. So you can just fucking increase their revenue by at least 2x by just modernizing the website, getting them Google reviews. How many people, like Lucas and I, when we go to restaurants, we always check, like, oh my God, how many reviews do they have? Do they have this fucking QR scanner where you can QR scan to get a Google review? Look, if you do this and you ask your clients for Google reviews, you're gonna get more clients, and you're gonna also then you're gonna be
Give them some candy with it.
exactly, and people are gonna find you more on Google. So if you do this for boomer businesses that you bought, this is also going to increase your revenue. And another thing, answering your damn phone, putting AI in there. How many startups are doing this right now?
I think 80%. If you're losing 80% of the business if you don't respond in
Next 10 minutes, I think.
you can 4x your exactly. You can 4x your double your revenue if you just answer your phone.
So if you do this, add this. Look, this is 2x or whatever. You can 3 to 5x your revenue. So this is my idea. So to summarize, are you going to make money with this? And why? Because first of all, you're not burning VC money, but you're making. I'm like the Instagrammer now. Make 15K cash flow every month. Easy. There's no need for innovation. Like honestly, you're not fucking reinventing the wheel. The business already exists. It is working. We just fucking bring it to the 21st century. There's just an execution arbitrage. So it's just like, can you fucking do it or not? You just do it, and you do it everything, and you can roll these bad boys up, make them more efficient. And thank you, ladies, for listening. And you crowned me already.
I mean, to be honest, this guy came with a PhD here. Like, but all the listeners will probably not even understand half of this because
Maybe your listeners not. Mine do.
This guy was like, we do this and then we do the Monopoly and then we just increase prices.
Well, everyone has played Monopoly.
You create a new one. All right, my ideas are much simpler, and so I present.
He's gonna create an OnlyFans.
Close. One, I call it, because name have power. So I call first one Negatron. So, I say that again. Negatron.
Wait, what? What does that mean?
It's an AI personal hater. So
basically negative.
It's like not Megatron, but Negatron, because it's negative. So how
I don't know why you're laughing.
So basically,
bro, what was the first half of that word, bro?
Yeah, okay, now that I'm saying, I see it. Anyways, so basically, it's an app, super simple, who each day sends you a notification to keep you humble, right? Because there are some people who are going over the top. So this guy is an AI coach that just keeps you humble, just keeps you, if you tend to go over the board, it just keeps you humble.
So it's like the opposite of a positive affirmation and
I personal hater, right?
You definitely need that in your life.
Then I have another one. It's called the Breakbot.
Bro, you got only one business idea.
Nah, I can split it. I can split half
baked ones, bro.
They're simple, but who knows whether they are half baked? Because think about it. The other one,
its name is definitely not half baked.
About it. Breakbot is the other one. So basically what it does, you can just text, I need a message how to, I don't know, break up or something like this. So it just writes you already a message for you, and you just have to say it there. And it costs 99 cents.
How do you break up?
That's you need to app. This is not a one-time purchase. 99 cents. and it's a specialized, and then you only get 5-star reviews where it says my breakup went perfect. she only punched holes in my car, but besides that, all right. No, but the last one I actually like the most, which is called the bail bot. Now you're wondering, what is the bail bot? Hey, this guy, this guy is hating, but he knows I'm winning because this guy is prepared. He's just like giving you the old boomers are retiring, you should just buy them up. But here, guys, this is it's a solo player leveling game.
All right,
Basically.
let's keep going with the idea.
All right, the bailbot, what it does is if you ever have commitments, for example, your friends want to go out to a restaurant or whatever, it creates you an excuse, even potentially can create you a screenshot that your boss telling you have to keep working so you don't have to go there. Basically, you're like, hey, I'm not feeling social. But instead of ignoring them, you just press that button. It generates you a good excuse as well as a screenshot of your boss texting. You might still have to work late. I think it's a fantastic idea.
Boss man?
What's that message? Boss man said super shitty written. These were my half-baked ideas for sure, but to be honest, made me laugh a lot when I was reading them. So yeah, I like them. All right,
They make me laugh, not gonna lie to you. But please let us know in the comments who won this one.
we're not saying which is the best idea. We're just saying here.
We're saying who's the best idea.
We're saying who's the alpha twin here, okay? The alpha ideas.
I mean, you made me laugh because that was not a good idea.
All right.
We can do next time funny ideas.
All right. All right, we have now unreasonable advice, Mark. Okay, we have here 5 incoming ones. All right, I think this one I really like is the first one that we have is how do I know it's time to pivot or just push through, right? Because I think this is one of these really important questions because you don't want to give up too early in an idea because maybe okay. Now we can split it between a tart.
Okay, all right. For me, this idea. Okay, for me, based on our experiences, we usually had a lot of issues with in terms of did we get it to the customer? So did you get it? Did you get it to the customer? Did you get to the right customer? Right? Did you find that thereby did you find the right distribution? Let's say you brought to what you thought was the customer. Let's say you are, for example, you're solving an issue that is for you, right? This is an issue that you had, and you're like, okay, who am I? What am I? What is the target group? What are people like me? And then you distribute it to people like yourself, but nobody's fucking interested. So either then you have to ask yourself, okay, is the app too shitty? Like, is it too expensive? Are people not paying for it? They're not willing to, like, is the pain not big enough? Or maybe I have the wrong target group. Like, maybe it wasn't supposed to be for me, but because mentally I'm a 80-year-old or 65-year-old woman in the central central of the US. So that's why, and then you focus the other target group, and maybe you find these users are fucking exploding using the product.
I have another.
But then you have to look and target.
I have another point there. A thing that is really helpful to answer this question is asking yourself or seeing whether you're using your own product, right? Because if there's a fit between
Truly, and not like
exactly, not like oh yeah, I just open it because it's my product. No, but if you really have that feeling that it solves a need for you, and you are seeing yourself using the product without having to think, oh my god, oh yeah, I have to open this. I think that's a really good way to say, okay, I'm on the right track. Now I just have to get to the right customer. So that's one of the things because I'm strongly the opinion if it solves a real need for oneself, there are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people who might have the same problem. So I think that's something that helps, makes it easier. All right. So when do you pivot then? If you don't have the feeling, if you don't solve the problem for yourself, if you're building another cookbook app for your mom, you don't even cook. So yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you. last year we didn't build this tool for us to have. So,
but we knew there was already competitors who were very successful with that.
all right, then start with that. So if you, for example, if you are doing the market is big enough, I see competitors early in the space, I believe it, I know they do have traction and they go in the right direction, fucking keep it the same. You just know if your website or app does the same shit as they do, you have a fucking distribution issue. Just fucking keep focusing on the distribution because your product is the same, or even if it is 10, 15%, 20% shittier, trust me, people are still gonna buy for it. If it's actually an issue, like something we experienced, our app was 20% shittier than the other one, but people are still paying for it. I'm telling you, because it was such a big thing for them. And then it's just like, hey, all right, how do you get them distribution? So you just like pivot in the terms of distribution wise, how to tackle that.
Yeah,
But
true.
you don't pivot from the idea. And yeah, sorry, not pivot. You just push through. I mean,
Yeah. All right, I have another, Mark. I think I like that one a lot. I feel behind. Everyone my age seems to be ahead. What should I do?
well, I mean, we're turning 33 this week. Most of our friends did the career, not entrepreneurship. They have like consulting or finance, so they're all they're all probably making six figures. And so, like, I can get that on this page in terms of, all right, monetary success. It looks like they are much more successful. Okay, because
They're much more ahead.
we're
Exactly.
broke boys. Not gonna lie to you guys. But the thing is
But
this.
this is our road from zero to what?
Blue Ship Hero.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like look, it's like this thing they always say. Look, the bamboo takes 5 years in the ground, and then all of a sudden, boom, it explodes within a couple of months, like 16 feet, 20 feet. I don't know, it's wild. So this is the same with startups. Look, we are building skills, and they're actually adding on top of each other.
Compounding, baby.
Exactly, compounding. You're stacking skills, and at some point, you're just going to explode. So we were still missing the marketing, for example. We're still focusing on that, but we're getting there. So that's why I think, yeah, okay, I feel behind in that regard. If you think that way, but just don't. I don't think that way.
Also, like,
Focus on
well,
yourself.
I think sometimes it always just comes up, right? For example, when we a few weeks ago listened to a podcast where guys like 17 and makes million on a mobile app, like 20 million. They're like, God damn it.
Honestly, I didn't feel like that at all. I was like, damn, that's a cool distribution.
No,
idea.
but at the same time, I was like, oh, okay. Then I was like, oh, actually, this distribution, how they're doing it, you might be able to replicate this as well on TikTok. So these are things that are really, really nice. But at the same time, if you listen to like some podcasts where you only hear the very young, successful people, it might distort you, right? Because in the end, the average entrepreneur is like 40 something. So it's never too late. And also, you have to think about, do you enjoy the road to get there, right?
Exactly. Enjoy the journey, right? Are you learning? Are you keep continuously improving? Are you not starting at zero all the time again? Are these actually skills that are stacking or not? Right? This is the thing. I don't compare myself to like other people in that regard. Like, look, how can I learn this? And also, I don't have regrets, or I don't want to have regrets, right? And if you know that and you're aware of these things, I think you'll be fine.
I think 100% agree. For me, it's just one of the things that's really, really important. For me, I only knew one thing, that I want to build something with my twin.
So yeah, my boy.
And that makes me happy. So I don't, but if you are building a startup and you're only motivated by the financial success, the road there will be so miserable. You might not, if you're not even, like, that's the thing. Like, if you're only, it's like literally eating glass all the time, and then you kind of enjoy it, and then exactly, and then enjoying the taste of your own blood. That's the thing. Like, it's, but if you're doing with people you really like working with,
and you like learning,
exactly, then it's great. But otherwise, if you are financially motivated, it's probably easier to get rich by becoming career oriented and working for another company.
You have to be a little bit of a psychopath.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. You kind of have to like it, getting kicked in the balls all the time. It's like, oh, your product's not working. Shit. Stuff like this. But yeah, that's for me. I think
if you like solving problems, that's the way to go. I think that's good, Lucas. Let's finish it up right now.
All right, everybody. Please, in the comments below, leave us other ideas or questions for unusable advice.
Rate us. Lucas with his 3 ideas, or Marc with his 1 idea. It's about good ideas, not about funny ones.
Or, and if you know
That one took us one for sure.
if you're not sure, share it with a friend, and then he can give us feedback as well.
All right.
Bye.
Peace.